Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special event. I think we've done several of these this year, and they're always very special for everyone involved. I love that I have some dear friends gathered with me here in person to help send love and build the energy right here in this space. But trust me, all of you add to the energy, and it's been building for the past hour. And I don't know if you can feel it, but the goosebumps are here already. So James, that's for you. We have James who always counts the number of times I get the goosebumps during my programs. I won't always mention it, but a lot of love here present. And that's part of what this program, this event is about, sitting in this energy of refined love. Right now it's already high, but when my guide Sanaya truly step in fully and speak through me, you will feel it. And it's healing and it's comforting, and it raises each of us. Our vibration goes up and hopefully stays there. So that's the goal. I have no idea what they're going to talk about today, little snippets perhaps of subjects, but it's always fresh and new. But I will tell you, it is also always about love and how we can find greater contentment, satisfaction, and less suffering in our lives in human form while we're here. So again, thank you to Bev and Lynette, especially, and to my other assistant, Amy, for all the background work and making this possible and keeping track of how many people register. We have over 600 people going to be sharing with us today. Not everyone can make it live, but even if you're not watching this live, trust me, you will still enjoy the same energy and you are still considered part of this group. Before we go any farther, speaking of energy and raising your consciousness, if you haven't already heard, the daily messages that I get, which we call the Daily Way, come from the very same guides you're going to be hearing from and experiencing today. Sanaya is their name. And I have received those messages in meditation every day for over 10 years. Well, gosh, well over. It's since 2010, August of 2010. And they add up to over 4,500 messages. And thanks to our wonderful helper, Jayesh Mitha, he has designed an app for smartphones that have the entire treasury of Daily Way messages and a beautiful tool where you can ask Spirit what you need to hear that day, push the button and get the perfect message from that whole library of messages. And I've been receiving really cool stories from people about how they asked and how perfect the message that came up was, just to show you how Spirit knows exactly what you need to hear at any time. But the feature I like is that you can keep your favorites all in one place. I have people that have told me over the years, they print out the Daily Way that really speaks to them and they have a folder. So now you can just have them right there at your fingertips. So many more features on there. It's available for Apple phones and Android phones. And congratulations to Jayesh, our designer, because the Awakened Way app was number 3 in new apps in its category this week, which is huge. And that's thanks to all of you who have already downloaded it. Thousands of people already downloaded it. So go to your stores where you get apps. It's free. Everything is free on it. No strings attached. And it is found by typing in Awakened Way. If you have any trouble creating an account or can't find it, go to SuzanneGiesemann.com/Awakened Way app. And there's a little shortcut to find it there, along with a form you can fill out that'll help make it easier to create an account. We don't do anything with your email addresses, but it's one of those things that Apple and Google require when you have an app. So if that speaks to you, please download it and join the community. You're in your community right here with this event. So speaking of community, all of you have come together so beautifully, contributing towards a beautiful charity called Care Camps. And I know you know this because you all contributed, but we have with us today Erica Lanter, let me get her title correct, Marketing and Communications Manager from Care Camps. And she's going to tell us just briefly what Care Camps is all about. And then we're going to announce to her how much all of you raised as a group, one heart, working together to support Care Camps. Erica, welcome to this event.
Hello, thank you so much. I am honored and so happy to get to be here with you today and to represent Care Camps. Suzanne, I was switching over to a panelist, and right when you said you wanted me to give a brief introduction of Care Camps, just tell everyone what it is. And then what did you say after that?
And then we'll tell you how much this community raised. Isn't she beautiful, everybody? And I just feel her beautiful heart. My gosh, that's what I wanted to say the second I saw you, because we hadn't met yet. But our hearts go out to you, anybody who's working in any organization that has a service orientation like this one. So
Yes.
Tell us about Care Camps, please.
Okay, so Care Camps is an organization that raises funds to help send kids who have had cancer to specialized oncology camps. And in a nutshell, we believe that healing happens in the hospital, right? It starts in the hospital. When you're diagnosed with something like that, we know that you need the doctors and you need the medicine, but we truly believe that true healing happens when you connect with others, as I know you guys all do, and when you connect with outdoors, and when you can get in the outdoors and you can feel the healing power of nature and the healing power of being with your peers. So imagine these kids who get a cancer diagnosis, and they're now not being able to go to school. Their friends can't relate to them anymore. Their life really changes on a dime, and often those changes last their whole life. So there are camps, 132 specialized oncology camps across the United States and Canada, who provide these experiences for these kids for free. They also provide an experience and a connection for not only the child who has dealt with cancer, but their siblings and their families. Because I know, when something happens to us individually, it happens to those around us too, right? So Care Camps is really so passionate about helping the child, but also helping the sibling, the family, and then of course, that just makes their community a better place as well. So that's really it in a nutshell. I would like to share with you, I just came back from a conference at KOA, and KOA's franchisees started Care Camps a while ago.
If I could just interrupt, KOA, for those of you who don't live in the US or aren't campers, it stands for Campgrounds with a K, Campgrounds of America, and everything at the campground starts with a K. They have cabins with a K. And when you go to check into a KOA campground, always front and center at the registration desk is a poster talking about Care Camps and asking for donations. So we see these all the time, and it's such a joy to be part of this. So go ahead, Erica.
So when I was there, I got to meet with a little girl who has been to many Care Camps, actually in Florida. She goes to the camp Boggy Creek. And she came up on stage and shared her story with us. And she has a rare brain tumor, and she's had it twice, and it is a type of cancer that will most likely come back. She's 17. She's had a craniotomy. She is beautiful and vibrant and incredible. But her life will never look the same, right? Like, she will always have difficulties physically because of her cancer. And she told us that when she is at camp, that it is the happiest time of her year. For that week, she said she gets to connect and she feels understood. And she said the best part is I don't have to explain anything. I just go. And her mom said to me, I said, what's it like for you when India is at camp? Because they don't do a family camp. India just goes to a camp by herself. And her mom said, when India is at camp, I can breathe. She said, because my whole life now, my job is to keep her alive and keep her thriving. And she said, and when she goes to camp, I can breathe because I know she's in such good hands. At the camps, there are medical providers and counselors, and anything that these kids are, even if they're past a cancer treatment, they still have lots of medical needs and things that they need taken care of. So at camps, that happens while they're connecting with friends, while they're riding horses, while they're swimming, and forgetting about all the hard stuff.
So beautiful. And James, you probably would have lost count of the goosebumps I got during that story. I will tell everybody that someone who's here with us now is Irene Vouvalidis, who is the vice president of one of my favorite organizations, Helping Parents Heal, for parents who have children across the Vale. And Irene's daughter, Carly, passed from cancer. And while she didn't get to attend one of those camps, I know she's with us now watching and enjoying this. And I just want to acknowledge that we all have somebody, we all know somebody who's affected by cancer, all of us. And Erica, I have here a list that's just for me of pages, you can see, of the donations, who they were given in honor of. Everybody that gave a donation was able to put in who they wanted to remember. And some of them said, you know, they don't want that being made public. So this is my list, and I've looked through it, and it's absolutely beautiful. But we will be giving a list of those who wanted care camps to know that they gave the donation in honor of somebody else. I'd also like to say that we're about to tell you how much we raised for care camps. But some of you, I hope, will enjoy this program and will share it with family members. We're not making the link public, but you will have the video link. And I absolutely encourage you to share it with others. And if any of you watching this video now, after the fact, feel drawn to donate to care camps, please go straight to carecamps.org, where there is a donate button. Because I know, hearing that story there, even though we're donating, I just want to jump in and double my donation, you know? So I hope that you all will want to do that. So Erica.
Yes.
We did this 2 years ago, and I want to credit Jennifer Mercer, who was at the time Director of Development. She's the one that was our point of contact 2 years ago. And I want to acknowledge Erica and also Rebecca, also from your organization. All of you, everybody involved are angels. But 2 years ago, thanks to everybody who gathered for this channeling for charity event, we raised $25,500. So I want to credit Ty, who said, you know, we need to do that one again. And
yes,
Ty is my husband. And so I said to Spirit, that was a great amount, but we have to beat that. That's not good if we're not higher than that. And I want to tell you that we did it. And thanks to everybody connected here today, care camps can count on $30,000.
yay!
Yay.
That is incredible. That is incredible. Thank you so much. That $30,000 means true healing for kids and families. It does. It costs around $2,000 a child. So imagine that you have actually literally taken all those kids and placed them in a place of joy and healing. So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and it's absolutely a joint effort. I know everybody gave what they could. It didn't matter large or small. It all came from the heart, and we just send it your way and to all the kids. And we thank you all for your efforts, those who contributed and those who work with the kids year round.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. I hope you will stick around and soak up the
I will. Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Nice. Oh, feels so good. Feels so good. Yay. All right. So I know that I saw that we had some of you who have never attended one of these sessions, and others have been to many. So I'm not going to go into great detail on what is going to happen. I'll just tell you that I'm going to do this the way I have been doing it in my monthly connection webinars, which are open to anyone. You can find out more about those on my website under events. But I've started doing brief channeling sessions as part of those monthly connections. This one will be lengthier. The guides will probably talk about half an hour, and they'll take questions. So Bev has already asked you to submit questions through the question box, not the chat. And when Sanaya says we will answer a few questions, Bev tunes into her guide and is guided which question to ask. She'll unmute her microphone and will ask the question, and Sanaya will answer it, and they'll let her know how many questions they're answering. I might flag a little. My energy tends to go down near the end of these sessions. So all you all need to do is send love my way. And it literally raises my energy. I feel it. And so you all have a task to keep pumping the love towards me with your hearts open. So what we do in those monthly connections is, rather than you sitting there passively while I go into a deep state of meditation to allow Sanaya to come through, we're going to turn this into a healing session for everybody. And we have found, this is so fascinating, when you take the focus off of yourself and send healing energy to others, you drop into a beautiful state, and you, of course, naturally receive because everybody's sending it to you. So many people tuning in now are in need of healing. Just set that aside. You will receive healing. I'd like you, while I'm going deeper, to focus on being the perfect instrument to send healing energy to whoever is connected now who can use it. And so in that way, that time is very useful, and we're all, as a group, healing each other. Isn't that beautiful? And so that will probably take a minute or two. That's all, just a minute or two. And that whole time I will be aligning my energy to that of Sanaya, and they'll step in and they'll just start talking. And it's at that point that you can focus then on their message and what you are experiencing during that channeling, because these are very experiential events. See if you notice your fingers and hands buzzing, if you feel pressure in your head. It's just energy moving. If it's too much, just say, back that off a little bit. Notice how your heart opens. Some people feel like crying. What is that? That's your soul saying, I'm so glad you're here listening to this. They're sometimes funny, sometimes serious, sometimes a little preachy, but not always. It always comes with love. And if they talk about me, they often use me as an example of their stories. They refer to me as this one. Sometimes Bev and Lynette refer to me as this one, just to be funny. I think that's pretty much it. So I'll come back in at the end and we'll wrap this up. But mostly just enjoy the experience and be healed, is what the guides say. Let's begin with an invocation together to bring us together as a group. All right. And then we'll go into the healing. Okay. All right. So why don't you join me in closing your eyes and just to shut out the external world for, oh, they are here already. Because they wanted me, they said you forgot to tell you that you'll notice the difference when they come through. My voice changes a little, and I've heard so many people say, why do people have to change their voice when they channel? They don't understand why that's necessary. It's not necessary. The guides have told me it's so that everybody knows this is spirit speaking and not just Suzanne. We're all spirit. You will notice my gestures change, the way the words come through change. And that's why they always answer questions, because they want you to see the immediacy of the answers, and so that you don't feel that everything that came before the Q&A was prepared in any way by this one. That it's all very spontaneous, and the Q&As are generally fascinating. And then people always want to know, what's it like for me? I am observing and watching and listening just like you are. It's like a split in consciousness that I know that words are coming out of my mouth, but my task is not to filter or change them in any way. And so I step back and just observe, and most of the time have thoughts like, oh, wow, they never talked about that before, or, oh, that's interesting, or, oh, they're not going to tell on me that way, are they? Those kinds of thoughts. So, oh, right. And they always want to know, people want to know, what's it like for me afterwards? I've never used drugs, but it's like being high. So it's like being high must be light. Let's put it that way. And then about 20 minutes later, I just crash from all that great energy. So all worth it. Trust me, it's beautiful. And I hope that you experience the same high energy. All right. So with that, let's shut out the external world for a while. And you will want to watch, however, once we begin after the healing session. So take a nice deep breath and exhale longer than you inhaled to really just drop down into a nice relaxed state. And move your awareness out of the head where we're always thinking and busy, and just settle into the heart area. That's where we're all connected. It's the bridge to the soul, to where we are all simply energy beings and not playing these roles. And send your light outwards in awareness, connecting with everyone. If you could see right now, from as spirit sees us, you would see the light around our planet just turn brighter just through your efforts to do this. And so we affirm today that we come together to hear the words of spirit, to raise the consciousness at an individual and a group level, knowing there's no difference at all. We're all connected. May each of us hear exactly what we need to hear, something that triggers in us a change that helps us leave behind what we don't need and bring in more light from within, shining it outward. May healing take place within us and for those around us as a result of our participation today, as we fill this space with gratitude for having followed the nudge to be here and take part in this today, and gratitude for all those who work in service to others. And so it is. All right. Beautiful. Okay, move my water away so I don't kick it over. Okay. All right, I believe we are totally good to go. Bev is going to disable the chat so that you're focused only on what Sanaya has to say. So thank you for that. So now is when you just picture a shaft of light and know that the life force flows through you and it comes down, and you're just going to send it out from your heart to everyone for healing while I adjust to Sanaya's energy. So thank you so much, and I'll see you when Sanaya's finished talking. Here we go. Good afternoon. And we thank you all for the healing that you have just imparted upon this group. Readily it is received. The souls of all of you are complete and whole at all times, yet the roles you are playing could use an upliftment, and that is what you have received through the transmission of energy. Understand, we have not prepared a presentation for you, for that would indicate that we come from a realm in which there is a past and a present and a future. You understand linear time in your human reality, but for us, there is only this moment now. It is hard for you to understand how this works. There is awareness that within your realm, an event is up and coming, such as this. We are aware of the energy building. We are aware of your excitement. We are excited about sharing with you. And in this moment, we wish to speak to you of gratitude. To you, it is a word which you would understand as a noun. Even speaking in these terms brings this one more into the human aspect. And so we ask you to turn up the love so that we can continue to explain to you that could we speak without words, we could transfer to you all knowledge, all information in an instant, but it must be unfolded in words. That is the way of it in your realm. And so we will speak of the noun gratitude. But understand, it is a force. It is an energy. It has its own vibration, a frequency, a signature that you would recognize as we tell you now. Bring to mind something for which you are grateful. Immediately, your energy shifts to the heart. Bring that to mind now. And if you are aware of subtle energies, you will feel a bit of a lift. Why is this? For gratitude inherently means connected to something beyond the self. You may be grateful for your own health. You may be grateful for the many blessings in your life. And yet there is a knowing with gratitude that these gifts are bestowed upon you. There is much gratitude being exchanged today amongst all of you for the ability to help, to give, to support in love a cause that brings happiness and joy to others. No wonder there are tears when you think about the difference that you, yes, you, in your human role, have made by sharing and giving of the self for a collective purpose. Gratitude encompasses this energy. Gratitude is not just arising from memories of past times when you have given, when you have received thanks, and there is gratitude. Not at all. Gratitude is innately part of the soul. You have given it this name, but we see it as a specific tone, a vibration. And we will tell you it is one of the most powerful tools that you can use if you wish to instantly align yourself with the soul. We see some of you taking notes at this time, and you are well served in doing so, even if only in the mind. You are feeling out of balance. Gratitude is the source of your healing. This one at one point did have in a previous home a decal upon the wall, permanently affixed, which did say in specific words, there is always something to be thankful for. When you are in the depths of grief, the depths of sorrow, feeling pain, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, it matters not. Indeed, there is always something to be grateful for. You may think with a wry laugh that some of your gratitude is small and is related to that which is causing you pain. There is one in this room who is reminiscent of a memory of someone she knows who was grateful for the large sunglasses to hide her swollen eyes from crying. This is what we refer to when we speak of a wry laugh. And yet, understand that small bit of gratitude pulled that one in that moment out of the self, out of the pain, and allowed her to harness that energy of gratefulness. This one was given a message this morning from one in the community who was asking about the difference between gratitude and gratefulness. Gratitude is something felt in the moment, a noun. We will not get again deep into your linguistics. Gratefulness indeed is a state of being. The more you express gratitude, the more you walk about in a state of gratefulness. And can you not imagine how your lives would change if you could cultivate this state of gratefulness instead of victimhood? It is quite understandable why humans suffer. The mind goes round and round and round. Conditioned thoughts and patterns of seeing the negative, focusing upon it, it can actually become addictive to have such feelings. But once you taste the flavor of gratitude, you will want more and more of it. And so we are showing this one in this moment, the image of a piece of paper beside the bed. And we are asking all of you to get the same, a tablet perhaps a blank sheet by itself, it matters not, but put with it a writing instrument so that first thing in the morning you see it and can put upon it that for which you are grateful. Last thing at night, read what you have written in the morning and add to it something that happened during your day for which you are grateful. This will establish a habit, and humans need habits to undo less than complementary habits that hold you back. The soul is grateful for this role it is playing as you, but at times it forgets that it is just a role. Gratitude links human awareness back with the soul awareness, the light within you that is always here. And we thank you. We are grateful for you allowing us this opportunity to give you greater understanding that you can harness the power of the soul yourselves from within with a simple shift in focus to gratefulness. We wish to shift gears a bit now, as you would understand it, and address this illness known as cancer, a very important and appropriate one now at this time, since all of you have given of yourselves to help those who are suffering. And we are choosing the word carefully that we are giving this one. Suffering happens to all when you feel you are only the role. Pain happens to all as well. There is a difference, is there not? Pain happens and suffering either ensues or not, depending on your view, your point of view. The human suffers. The soul observes with detached neutrality and says in certain words, "Isn't that interesting?" This maintains you in a neutral viewpoint so that suffering can be kept at bay whilst you understand that things do happen in the human world where there are ups and downs. And this is our point, that cancer happens. It is an effect from multiple causes. When you know one who has passed from this affliction, when you know one or perhaps are one who have this affliction known as cancer, it is the human tendency to place blame, to try to determine the source of this sickness. And we wish to tell you that one of the rules of the awakened way, better said, not rule, but principles of this awakened way path that to this one shares from us to you, is that you are part of a web, one continuous web that cannot be interrupted or separated. When you are part of a web, blaming one person, one thing is silliness, a waste of energy. Only beings who see themselves as individual would blame themselves, another, or one thing or one circumstance. Cancer, as are many illnesses, is an effect of multiple causes that arise through this web. It is literally impossible to point one finger of blame. We could talk, of course, about toxins and toxicity in your world, organic or not, pesticides, all different kinds of sources would arise. Poor thinking, actions that you took or did not take. You could drive yourself quite silly with the many causes. And we will tell you that there would be much validity in each of these causes at an individual level. And yet there is no one cause. This is our point. And so blame is pointless. The purpose of our addressing this now is not to bring down the energy, but to show you how you are part of a whole, how you are all connected. And when you can take a holistic view and look about you and say, yes, perhaps this was a greater cause than that, you will start to look at how you can help to change the whole, not only in yourself, but in all others to whom you are connected at the deepest levels. Love, as we have said many times, is lack of separation. It is quite different than human love, this divine love of which we are speaking. Love is the very life force that flows through all of you, that animates all that is. Creation itself is love. To say God is love is an accurate statement, yet it is not a person, not a being. It is pure being, and from it arises limitless forms. And from these forms in your human world are opposites. Your task is to find the unity, the wholeness, and see that which detracts from the wholeness, that which is out of alignment with unity and connection. You will continue to have Cancer in a world of duality. It is an effect. Do you understand? Placing blame on yourself, on another, for effects which arise inherently from a world of duality, again we say, is a waste of energy. You are much better suited to asking of Spirit, how can I bring more love into this world? Show me, please, causes of misalignment at all levels, and where you are snagged by things that are out of alignment with love, change them in an instant as guided from above. And little by little, the causes of cancer will subside. It all comes back to love. We look forward to answering your questions now. We hope that we are in some way uplifting you whilst walking that fine balance beam of bringing in a subject which is quite painful to many of you, but we are trying to alleviate that very human emotion known as guilt. When you feel such emotions, understand this is the human side. The soul does not feel guilt. The soul is whole and complete and understands that by experiencing guilt within human form, the contrast is so opposite to your innate nature as connection and love that you want nothing more than to heal that. And in searching for relief, you discover that the source of relief and your cure lies within you by aligning with love. And thus, in acting in a unified state, the guilt quite naturally dissolves, for you realize you would not and could not do anything to harm another if you had remembered who you were. So merely by remembering, I am a soul, I am connected to all beings, I am one in expression of one source, feelings such as guilt and blame and shame and unworthiness, again, quite naturally dissolve. Love yourself, love all others, and feel those opposites reconcile in this innate unity. Is there a question for us, please?
Yes, Sanaya. This question also involves pain or suffering. When someone dies in a horrific accident or event, does their soul feel the pain? Do they suffer?
Here as well, the soul does not feel pain. The soul does not have a physical body as you do, and thus, of course, has no physical senses. As far as emotional pain, there is awareness of what the role would feel, but the soul has pure awareness. Ah, something has changed in the role. As the human who is going through this so-called horrific accident is aware of what is happening, this is translated to the soul, and the soul does its best to send peace, strength, and courage, the innate aspects of the soul, to the human experience. Always there is an exchange of energy, but you would understand there is a kind of barrier that these less comfortable experiences of the human side are not felt at the soul level. Understand that there is, through this barrier, a bifurcation of experience, so that whilst it may appear to be suffering taking place in the human role, you can have dual awareness from the soul's perspective, detached, disassociated from the role. We hope we are not losing you in this explanation. You can see what is happening from the human role, whilst at the same time aware from the soul's perspective, all is well. And so we have answered your question and added a bit more. The soul does not suffer, and even when it may appear that the human is suffering, there is awareness filtering through that all is well. If you can maintain this in the midst of any human suffering, that light of the soul will be able to flow unimpeded more and more. We hope this has helped you. This is always the goal. We will entertain another as you turn up the light for this one, please.
Thank you. This is anonymous. I know our thoughts and thinking affect our inner peace and well-being, but where do our thoughts come from, and can we control our thoughts?
To a certain degree you can control, but you are all well aware that you do not have ultimate control, and this is what drives the human crazy. For control seems to give you a sense of safety, and it is that underlying awareness that you cannot control things around you that causes fear. What is the antidote? Surrender to a power greater than the limited human. But it is not surrender in a weakened state. It is a trust that you are part of this web of which we have just spoken. The more you give up your need to control, giving into the power that is always animating you, the more that trust can be revealed. It is a bit of a paradox. You must surrender to receive. And the more you receive the gift of source in awareness flowing through you, the more you come to trust and realize you do not need to control anything, for all is always in perfect order. It may not seem to be so at the human level. And this is when you surrender to spirit and say, show me the gift in this, for I cannot see it at all. And that gift may reveal itself over time. Many of you can relate to stories such as this one, the death of a child, the death of one you hold near and dear, and say, there cannot possibly be a gift in this. And so erase the word gift and find in it the higher vibration that results from this. Perhaps that will help you to see in a different light. How can consciousness be raised in myself and others as a result of this? All thoughts, to answer the original question, arise from one mind. You may call it creative intelligence. You may call it the divine mind. You may call it source. You may call it God. It is one field of consciousness, and you are a thought in that one mind, broken down into many sensations, thoughts, and feelings, constantly arising and flowing through your seemingly individuated mind. Yet you cannot be separated from this one mind. Again, we are circling around and around the same topic of you as part of one web. That web of which we spoke earlier is this one mind, and thus all thoughts arise from within that one mind. Where thoughts are not aligned with love, they have become embroiled in a specific pattern known as a story, the story of you, the story of others. And these pattern thoughts can take on a bit of power of their own, but understand there is only one power. And so distorted thoughts are thoughts which arise from the field, but get caught up in the whirlpool, a bit of a storm within one being. You recognize these well. They cause you suffering. What to do then? Call on the greater power to imbue you with higher thoughts. This is surrendering. You cannot control which thoughts arise, when and how. So look upon these thoughts with curiosity, with wonder, I wonder which thought is going to arise next. May it be helpful. May it be healing. In this way, you are paying attention to the thoughts which arise, and you will notice those which don't serve you. Merely set them aside and return to watching with wonder. This is how you know, and you come to know more and more that you are connected to Source, that there is being at a higher level that wants only the best for you, that comes from a place of love. As you notice thoughts that are not from this place, may you say the words, "Not mine," and set them aside, allowing that greater flow to inspire you, to energize you, to rejuvenate you, to bring you back to life, which is an acronym, a memory device for love in full expression. The life force flows through you at all times. It becomes a bit disturbed in the storm of the seemingly individual mind. Through awareness, you will come to recognize you can control your individuated attention. Learn to place your attention on the fresh, inspiring thoughts, and we dare say your life will change for the better. We will entertain another as you all do your best to turn up the energy, please.
Thank you. This is anonymous also. What happens when royalty and celebrities cross over? Are they treated the same as everyone else?
You would like us to say that there is a red carpet put out for them, but do you not understand that you, dear ones, are royalty in our eyes, and we put out the red carpet for all? All that matters is, did you love from the heart and soul? Does not matter if you are a celebrity, a queen, a pauper, or whatever role you played, all of you have the opportunity to love fully. There are those you revere on your television, and we question why. Are they giving from the heart? Is it about fame and fortune and not coming from the heart? This is yet more drama. And the human so loves the drama. To us, there is no drama. There is only the pure being of connection and unity. And so all are received with love. All immediately feel love when crossing the veil. No one is judged for the amount of love they have shared. And yet they feel it, this love that they receive upon crossing the veil, and can immediately compare the frequency they have gained whilst in human form and brought with them to this baseline, all-encompassing love, which is your very essence. Do you know that you can do that now, dear ones? Tune into your overall average frequency. Imagine now, in awareness, the greatest love you can imagine, and hear us well. It cannot even touch upon the true divine love you will feel when you cross the veil. For if you were to feel all of that in this instant, the body would not be able to handle it. But imagine for now such a love, unconditional love at its best, and compare your very being with that, not to feel guilt, not to feel less than, but as a barometer. Could you do better? Always. For the human came here to experience through contrast. What is it that you are contrasting with? That baseline which flows through you. You find this in the silence, beyond the story. There are some of you just now, we have heard you saying, but I have never been loved. I cannot love myself. I do not know what that feels like. And yet, beautiful child, you do know it. You came in as a beautiful child, knowing only this vibration. It is the layers of story that you have brought into that are merely hiding this awareness. It is trying to peek out. It has always been there. It is there now at the timeless level. You seek it by shutting out the story. Do this in little bits at once. And with that same sense of wonder, watch the thoughts as they arise quite naturally. Are they loving or not? Feel the contrast. Pay attention, give attention only to the ones which are aligned with your source. A recipe for contentment. Is there another, please?
Thank you. Laura asks, do our loved ones on the other side know when we'll be crossing over? Do they gather to greet us?
Quite well. There is a gathering in advance. They see what is coming. Now understand that there are what you would call accidents when, because you are part of this web of which we have spoken, others' free will choices cause other souls, human roles to end. Always there is an exit point, multiple times throughout a life when there may be a possibility of departing. Those across the veil can see the web at work and choices coming together, and because they exist at a timeless level, they are magnetized to these events, gathering around, and always all who cross are met as if a joyous family reunion. Picture this. It is the best description that we can give to you. An alternate visualization would be twinkling stars shining brighter, gathering around you, your soul family coming to say, welcome home in awareness. But here as well, you can enjoy this awareness now, here, whilst in human form. So be not in a hurry to cross the veil. You are here being breathed in this moment, for there is yet more love to be channeled through you. Do you understand? This is your main task. And you can do it in limitless ways, not only through contributing your well-earned money, not only through works of good and service, through the placing of a hand on one in need of love, through a kind word, through loving yourself. For you are part of this one connected web. Loving only others is leaving out an important component of that web, and that is you. All are equal in a web that is connected. What you see around you, in anything that is less than loving, in anything that reflects anything less than unified decision-making, is ignorance of this connection. We hope today that our words have brought you to this awareness, but be aware that during this entire transmission, we have been pushing through you the higher energy that allows the soul to make its presence known through you. It cannot be denied. Why would you deny it any longer? You are worthy. You are very loved. You are one with the source of love. Loving others depends greatly upon loving the self. It is reciprocal action. Thank you so very much for being part of this Love Fest today. all is well at the level of the soul. Bring this awareness to the surface, and we dare say you will find a joy most humans are seeking, and yet it is here for the giving and the taking. Again, we thank you and bring you back to where we started with gratitude. May you walk the rest of the days of your experience here in the world of time in an endless state of gratefulness. You are so very loved. We bid you good afternoon. Okay. Thank you all for being part of this. There's nothing I can add to that. I look forward to hearing it. I thank you all so very much for your presence. Perhaps you'd like to just sit in this energy after we end this session and just take a moment and soak up what was received. Perhaps take a few notes while it's fresh in awareness and decide what you'd like to do with this experience moving forward. I thank you so much for being part of this community. Just spread it around, would you? All this love. And thank you to Jennifer, Erica, Rebecca, and everyone at Care Camps. So much love. I love you all. We'll see you around. Bye-bye.